Nintendo's 2021 is now looking a little more buff than it did in January, largely down to the much welcomed Nintendo Direct that dropped on the 17th of February. With releases like Bravely Default 2 and Monster Hunter Rise just around the corner, 2021 is already off to a banging start. Let's not kid ourselves either. There are even more announcements and possible directs to come throughout the rest of the year, and possibly more Twitter drops too. Yes, I'm looking at you, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. But I personally believe 2022 will be bigger, fuller, and an all-round fantastic year to be a Nintendo Switch fan. In fact, I even think it will be as big as a launch year for the Switch. What's up everybody, it's Gary from Nintendo Village here, and in this video I'm going to be speculating and theorising why I believe 2022 will be an incredible year for the Nintendo Switch, even though 2021 is actually looking really good in itself. If you're new around here, we have new videos every week, so if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe and like, and well, let's get on with it. So let's get the obvious out of the way first. We got a glimpse into the world of the Squid Kids that has been torn apart by chaos in the latest Nintendo Direct. Fans of Splatoon, including myself, were very surprised and over the moon with the shock announcement. Not only does it mean that Splatoon isn't tied to the one per system limits that Nintendo seem to place on their franchises, but it also shows that Nintendo is heavily invested in one of their newest IPs. With enough of a shake-up, Splatoon 3 could set itself apart from the other two entries in the series. Not only does the world look like it might house more of a story-driven narrative than its previous counterparts, but the inclusion of the little salmon dude also gives me those vibes too. Even a small glimpse into a turf war suggests that we are in for a change, as it looks like the respawn / start points of the matches have changed. This alone could shake up the combat and strategy and make for some interesting, faster, and all-round fresh new gameplay. It might be too early to say that it's the best entry in the series. I mean, we know literally nothing at the minute, but it definitely has the potential to be. As soon as I glimpsed my eyes on the Project Triangle strategy, oh, and for the love of God, I hope they end up changing the name into something much better than that, I instantly presumed we were getting more of the immensely fantastic Octopath Traveler. Instead, we were treated to an entirely new game, entirely new story, new gameplay style, but it kept that 2D, 3D art style that Octopath Traveler used. I've already ploughed through the demo and thought it was fantastic. It could, almost definitely, end up being my favourite strategy game on the system, and definitely one to look out for in 2022. And okay, so we don't really know too much about 2022, but here's all the reasons why I think it could actually be an incredible year. The Legend of Zelda series has finally turned 35 in Japan. Much like the Super Mario 35th anniversary celebrations, I believe that the Zelda franchise will see something similar, meaning that, like Mario, we should get another big game towards the tail end of those celebrations, leading into the first half of 2022. And locked behind this little bad boy was Twilight Princess HD and Wind Waker HD, and hopefully we can get both of those across to the Switch as well. Or if not, maybe just the Hero Time collection that people on Twitter keep waffling on about. There is also the possibility that the sequel to Breath of the Wild could also be a 2022 game. So what do you guys think? Is it just going to be Skyward Sword HD on the Switch this year? Are we getting the sequel to Breath of the Wild this year? And are Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD going to come to the Switch at all? Well, let me know down in the comments. I personally believe that, yeah, we will get them, but hey, anything goes, right? Straight off the bat, I just want to get this out of the way. I don't think Nintendo will be celebrating any big birthdays for Metroid. Where Metroid definitely holds a soft spot in my heart, I don't believe that the Big N holds it to the same pedestal that I do alongside Mario and Zelda. But what we do know is that there is a Metroid Prime 4 in development, and it has been since 2017. Okay, so maybe 2019 because they did restart the development. Given that the average length of time it takes to make a full console or PC game is around 3 to 5 years, I just can't see Prime 4 coming out anytime in 2021. And just like Zelda, there are past games stuck on older systems too. We could just get the Metroid Prime trilogy, right? Everybody wants it. I would love to see it come across to the Switch. The Metroid Prime trilogies are some of my favourite games of all time. But to be honest, at this point, I'll take another import. Please Nintendo, just give us Metroid. Well, where do we start? Bayonetta 3 was announced a very long time ago on the 7th of December in 2017 at the Game Awards. Since then, everything has been, well, more than a little quiet. And with a game as big and as hyped as the Bayonetta series, I just can't see him shadow dropping it anytime soon. Hideki Kamiya, one of the co-founders of Platinum Games, recently said in an interview with Video Games Chronicle that we should forget about Bayonetta for now. I mean, is he just throwing the ball so that we stop asking about it, or is it really not coming this year? But be it this year or the next, I know for a fact that I'll be down for a day one purchase. And just think, it would have been a whopping 8 years since the original release of Bayonetta 2, so I'm confident that this has got to be worth the wait. Yet another big year and big milestones. 25 years that Pokemon has been roaming our digital earth and invaded our hearts. We are literally expecting announcements around the time that this video goes live, and I wouldn't be surprised if they announce a few things that bleed over into the next 2 years. And can we believe it? As I'm editing this video together, the Pokemon Company drops an announcement. And you've probably known by now whether I'm right or wrong, because that would have dropped by the time this video drops. And yeah, just let me know down in the comments whether I was right or wrong. Judging by how the Pokemon Company's released games in the past, we normally see a major release pretty much every year. And hey, without counting Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, we haven't seen the usual remakes at the Nintendo Switch yet. With Pokemon Snap being this year, I just can't see another full-blown big main release coming from the Pokemon Company this year. Instead, I think we'll get to see more on projects that have already been announced, such as Pokemon Sleep, Pokemon Unite, and more updates for Pokemon Go, and maybe another few little things scattered around here and there. The new mainline entries normally take about 3 or 4 years on a cycle to complete and release. Pokemon Sword and Shield, the last in the main series, were released in 2019, so just let that sink in. If I'm right, this would leave 2022 in a perfect place to release the next big game, be it a remake, Let's Go, or mainline game. Either way, it's a given that the next couple of years are going to be filled to the brim with our favourite pocket monsters. Thank you guys very much for watching the video, and what do you think? Do you think I'm right? Do you think 2022 is going to be an absolutely brilliant year, or do you think I'm just talking crazy? Well, let me know in the comments, because I read them all and I do reply. And be sure to head over to nintendovillage.com. We have all sorts of news, reviews and podcasts. By the way, Ninja Nation podcast, definitely check those out if you like your indies on the Switch. And with that, I will see you next week.